Hi everyone. In today's episode of Webok, we are going to talk about branding, and specifically branding inside of Adobe Spark, the web application tool that you need to use to manage all of your assets related to social media. We're going to talk about this and more right after this break. Welcome back. Today we're talking about Adobe Spark, and the very first thing that you need to do when setting up Adobe Spark for the first time is to set up your brand. Adobe Spark is such a great tool when it comes to branding, and in the past couple of years they've made a lot of improvements on their UI and also on the functionality. For example, in the past they had the ability to add only one brand, which didn't make much sense if you're a creative artist managing multiple brands for other companies. So now the time has come for us to look at multiple brands within Adobe Spark. Let me share my screen, and I'm going directly to the dashboard of Adobe Spark. As you can see, the menu on the left-hand side is simple, and the area we need to go to is brands. Remember, brands is a section you need to set up once per brand, and then you can forget about it. In fact, if you set it up properly and you avoid the mistakes that others have done in the past, then you are set up for success. Let's find out what we can do. So if you go on brands, the very first section that you need to fill is your logo, followed by your brand color, followed by the font. And every successful brand really has that integrated already, but you need to translate it inside of Adobe Spark. So let's see how we're going to do that. First, we click on Upload a Logo. And by the way, what I do is I have all of my logos found here. I have a colored version of my logo. I have a white version of my logo. And obviously all of these are PNG, so they are transparent. And that's the recommended format. And I have a couple of them which are also white, but they have some drop shadow. So let's start with the colored logo, and I'm starting with this, and I uploaded it. That's it. By the way, the very first step of working with Adobe Spark and setting up the brand is very simple. It's just 3 steps. Next, you need to pick up your color and then your main font. So let me go about selecting the color. Now for me, I do manage my colors here. I have one second, let's go to the colors. In my colors, I do have my primary, which is the purple, and I have a secondary color and a third color as well. So for the sake of this example, we need only one to start with. Notice that this is a hexacode, so just type it in here or copy and paste it. The third section is actually picking up your font. And what I've done is I have selected over the years to use the particular font that I love for Webok, which is Roboto. And I do have the files just in case Adobe Spark doesn't have them ready inside of the library, if they're not ready for me to use. Usually I use the Roboto Bold for my headings and the Roboto Regular for the body of my text. Now, for the sake of this section, really they are asking us about the headings, though they are not being explicit about it. So let me see if they have Roboto here. If you don't see it right here, you can start typing it. I'm sorry. You can actually look for it here, and I don't really see it there. The list is not that extensive. So what you can do is click on the plus icon and you can go directly to the fonts, Roboto. I have extracted all these files because they are of different types and thicknesses. So I'm gonna just select all and upload them. And notice how it recognizes the font. It actually has a preview of your font. And this is one of my favorite fonts actually. And once it's done, the continue icon will be highlighted for me to click. And it says here, we will be converting the font files you provided and storing them for use. And I click on yes and continue. And now, for the first time, I have Roboto font with all its variations in my library of fonts to use within Adobe Spark. And that's a great asset. That's a great addition to my Spark application. So as you can see here, we have all of them now, and they are kind of at the top of the list, which makes it easier. So for me, I'm going to select Roboto Black, because this is the one that I use for my headings. And notice as I'm making these changes, how Adobe Spark is already creating some useful designs for me and kind of giving me an indication of how my assets are going to look like. And just by the look of it, I love it. It just looks very clean and very consistent in colors. So if we're done with this, we can hit next, and it asks us to actually type the brand name. I'm calling it Webok, and it says create my brand. Now this is pretty much it. However, by just doing this step, you're opening up a variety of options for you. I'm just going to hit the got it, thanks. And as you can see, now this is my brand dashboard. Notice how I have my logo here, but notice how I have a plus sign, which means I'm able at this point to actually upload multiple logos. And that is very useful because I could toggle between all of the variations of logos that I have, whether it's the colored one or the white or the drop shadowed one. So let's go about doing that right now. I'm clicking on the plus, another plus I click on here, and I'm going to my colored logo, and I still have these two. I could click on each one to upload one at a time. I think you have to do that. So this is another logo which is in color. As you can see, it's visible here. Then I'm going with the full text variation of the logo. So for every color I do have 3 variations, then that's always helpful when you have a brand which is kind of flexible in terms of the look and feel. So again, I'm going with the Webok now in the white color. I have 3 variations. And this. And I still have 3 more to go. So let's go ahead and click the plus sign and go ahead to the white shadow and upload this. And the full text one. And this. So a total of 9 beautiful logos. And remember, I've designed them all in PNG with transparency so that they lay on top of my designs seamlessly and they look clean and beautiful. So once we're done with this, we can close it. Again, this is the power of logos. You can upload as many logos as you want. I usually upload high quality, at least 1500 in width in terms of pixels. 72 dpi is fine. And then now going to colors, if you would like to add additional colors to your brand, you could, but keep in mind that you can use only one. And by the way, even for the logo, let's go back to our logos right here and notice if I click on the edit icon, I could pick and choose from all these and make one of them primary, only one. So let's say I want to replace with this one, I just have to click on Make Primary. And now it's kind of giving me a confirmation saying that if you do that, it's going to replace all of your assets that you've created with this new logo. And that could be fine in case you're experimenting and looking for different variations for your social assets. So notice now how my logo has changed. And if you scroll a little bit down here, you notice that this new logo is being used now by the graphic examples that Spark is kind of suggesting for me. I would like to go back to my older logo. Let me go back and choose the colored one. I'll choose this one. Notice if you click on it, nothing happens. You really have to click on the three dots and then Make Primary, and then confirm that you really want to replace and make this new logo as your primary logo, your one and only to use in your graphics. So I'm closing this. Now in regards to colors, we can do the same. If you have a variation of colors for your brand, you can go about and use those colors as well. So for me here, I have a secondary lighter version of my logo that I could add. So I'm clicking the plus and then typing in the hex code right here, waiting for a few seconds. As you can see, this is a variation. This is the original one. This is a variation. And then I have yet another one, which is slightly pinkish in color. So it's all colors that are shades of purple, starting with the primary darker purple to a little bit lighter to a more lighter. I call it the lightest. So these are my colors. But again, remember, you can only choose one to be your primary. And in this case, I've chosen this one. If you want to change it, for some reason you want to go with this, you have to click on this three dots and then click on Make Primary. Once more, you are getting a confirmation if you want to do that. For now, I'm just canceling and getting out of it. I'm keeping them just on the side. You could add as many colors to your brand and then decide to use them whenever you want. It's really your choice. Now, in regards to the fonts, obviously we've chosen Roboto Black for the heading, but notice how by default, it didn't pick the font for the body. It just picked up some random font that they have in the library, whereas I really want Roboto regular. So I'm going to click here and go under this selection and look for Roboto. Let's see. There you go. It's right here. Actually, it's smart enough, and it's asking me if I want to replace it. And I say yes. And this is seriously, this is pretty much it. You don't need to do anything else. You are pretty much set with your designs. And then you can always head back by clicking on brands. And you can always notice that you have your brand right here. Anytime you want to make changes to it, you can hit the edit brand, go and make any changes, then go back. You can hit the back button right here. And if for any reason you don't want to work with this particular brand and you want to start a new one, you could always start a new one by hitting the create a brand, and you'll have multiple brands. But if you don't want to use Webok brand anymore, you can always delete it by clicking on the three dots and then delete brand. And don't worry, if you accidentally do that, nothing really is going to happen. All you're getting is a confirmation from Spark saying that if you remove your brand, it's really going to be removed forever. So be careful while doing that. If you hit the delete, that's it. All your colors, logos, and fonts, in addition to all of your templates, will be gone forever. So for me, I want to keep it for now, so I'll hit the cancel, and I'm happy. I'm really happy with this interface. It's simple. Just by learning it through tutorials and by looking at the interface, you can pretty much figure it out, but I wanted to make sure that you guys know about it and you do it as the first step while going through any Adobe Spark setup. This is really useful. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember, setting your brand is the first thing to do. In a next episode, I will be talking about how to create templates and how to make use of the the tons of templates that Adobe Spark puts out at your disposal so that you can make use of it. And that's the real power of Adobe Spark. I hope you enjoyed today's video. My name is Danny, and I'll see you in another one. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and also hit the bell button so that we can let you know when a new video is published. Have a great day. Bye-bye.